Joining me now is Democratic candidate for Congress in New York's 17th District, former Congressman Mondaire Jones. Congressman Jones, welcome back to the Saturday show. It's been 2 years. I think one of the last times you were on, you were still in Congress. Why are you running again?
Yeah, Jonathan, it's great to be with you and to be with your viewers. I'm running because, for me, policy is personal. You know, unlike most of the people that we see in the House of Representatives, I know what it's like to struggle. And I think we need more people in Congress who understand the pain that working people are feeling, including the people, most importantly, in my congressional district, in the 17th congressional district, which is in New York's lower Hudson Valley. And as proud as I am of the work that we did last term when Democrats had the gavel, the work of capping the cost of prescription drugs under the Inflation Reduction Act so that next year no one on Medicare is going to pay more than $2,000 out of pocket for prescriptions, or of bringing hundreds of millions of dollars for schools, housing, and healthcare to my congressional district, even as a freshman member of Congress. I know that our work is unfinished, and that has to include codifying Roe v. Wade. It has to include banning assault weapons, lowering the cost of housing and healthcare, and obviously protecting the Affordable Care Act, which is what Donald Trump and my Republican opponent want to repeal.
Speaking of your Republican opponent, in the first quarter of 2024, you raised more money than him. And a spokesman for Congressman Mike Lawler recently called your record, quote, radical and dangerous. So what sets you apart from Congressman Lawler?
Yeah, you know, I grew up in Section 8 housing and on food stamps, and my opponent is a former oil and gas lobbyist who got elected to Congress and has proceeded to act like an oil and gas lobbyist. He opposes the Inflation Reduction Act, so he would have seniors like my grandmother pay more for their prescription drugs and not less. He supports Donald Trump for the third consecutive presidential cycle. He was actually a convention delegate for him in 2016, got paid to help him get reelected in 2020, and now recently had to admit that he's supporting him for the third time. This is, of course, someone who's been charged with 88 felony counts and who incited a violent insurrection at the Capitol. This is a guy, Mike Lawler, who says that he's a law and order Republican. And so I think it's really important that people pay attention to what he does and not what he says when the television cameras are on. And I would just say, Jonathan, that we don't take back the House majority if we don't flip this district that Biden won by 10 points, that I used to represent 73% of before New York's disastrous redistricting in 2022, and where Democrats, frankly, on paper, outnumber Republicans by 80,000. But of course, when I speak to Republicans, independents, and Democrats, they want the chaos to stop. And there's no way that the MAGA Republican majority gets the gavel taken away from them if we don't defeat Mike Lawler here in a district where he only won by 1,820 votes.
So in the less than a minute that we have left, Congressman Mondaire Jones, if you win back the seat against Congressman Mike Lawler, what's your first priority?
Well, the first priority has to be making sure that we codify Roe v. Wade and rescue our democracy. You know, we're staring at a situation right now where if there's not a Democratic majority in January, Republicans may not certify a Joe Biden victory. So it is just really important that we have adults in the room, in the majority, unlike the chaos, extremism, and incompetence that we are seeing. But we have to do more than that, Jonathan. We, of course, have to secure our border. We, of course, have to make sure that we are banning assault weapons so that kids can stop getting gunned down in schools around the country. And we have to continue to lower the cost of prescription drugs and health care, which is something I'm very passionate about, as someone who watched his grandmother work past the age of retirement just to pay for the high cost of prescription drugs.
I asked for one priority. You gave me four. Former Congressman Mondaire Jones, thank you very much for coming to the Saturday show. Good luck on the campaign trail. And by the way, we did reach out to Congressman Mike Lawler and invited him to come on the show. We have not yet